Hey guys, it's Crystal, and I am responding to the discussion board for chapters 11, 12, and the videos. Um, some of the videos I found very interesting. The one where they talked about the girl about being albino. I really liked her. I think she said, I can be who I want to be. She can dye her hair pink or red or whatever color it was. I really liked that because it's so true. Um, I think some people do place so much on the race and culture card that they forget that it's an actual human being and standing in front of them. So I really like that part of it. The video with the children, well, I'll be completely honest, I don't like CNN to begin with, and so I was very critical of that video to begin with, if you want to be honest. As counselors, we're taught to not ask why. And in that video, when the kids were being surveyed for what color they liked and what color they, represented mean and bad, the people who were doing the interviewing were asking the kids why. Well, then, if you got to the part where it said one little girl was race neutral when they were given that percentage, and she pointed to all the children, the interviewer said, well, what made you think that? So she changed her questioning. So I don't put a lot of stock into things like that. I, I tend to get research based neutral surveys, not so much the political channels. So those are my thoughts on that. I was very critical of that one. We can't no longer do, I don't think, North and South. Maybe years ago we could have said it, the North against the South. And I know I'm, jokingly a lot of times saying, oh, they're from up North. Sometimes I'm not joking, because I am from the South. But at the same time, there's a difference. And with it being from the North and the South, questioning with those children and the percentages that they were including, I think right now you have to ask the children questions and take into their whole being. For example, they were asking kids about which one represented bad. Well, one of them pointed to the darker skin, but that means they may not have had much experience with the darker skin, or that they've associated darkness with being bad. And so I think you have to look at a child's background and what they're processing in their mind to have that discussion, and not so much just ask them a question and ask them to point. I think there's more to the stories on those. So those are just my thoughts for that video. And you also have to look at like what communities are they living in. Have they never had experience with whether they're white or they're black? I know that my father-in-law went to the commissary one day, and he said he was standing there and there was a little white kid standing there, probably a little 4-year-old, and said, look, mommy, he's brown, talking about the other little boy that was in front of him. And he seemed kind of shocked that, there was a brown person in front of him. So I think exposure in what area they're in also plays a part into it as well, and how parents respond. So I think that's an important matter there. As far as the readings go, I don't like the book. I am a white person. I'm proud to be white. I don't know if that makes me a bad person or not. Um, but not so much that I'm proud to be white. I'm just proud to be who I am. I try not to look at the skin color of people, and I think the book had it right, with people, not intentionally doing anything wrong or being biased or racist. I would never do anything intentional. So I think sometimes I do get frustrated with this book because, well, that's not who I am, and I get lumped into that category. So I look at the heart, I don't look at the skin color. Um, I might get shot down for this one, but I didn't vote for Obama. And someone had asked me one time, and it kind of hurt my feelings that they asked me this of, why didn't you vote for him? Is it because he's black? And I just looked at that person and I said, no. I said, evidently they didn't know who I was, because I said, that's the least of my worries. I said, I look at a person's heart when I try to gauge where they are and what they stand for. I don't look at the color of their skin. And so I don't want people to think that of me, Crystal, that I would judge a person by their color or, by their culture, that you know, we have to make decisions in life, but I don't want it to be based on skin color or culture. I want it to be on right and wrong choices of following the law, not following the law, and different things like that. Strengths and weaknesses regarding my cultural competence development. I think that's one of the areas that I've really tried to do in my professional development internship for the internships. And so I was really trying to work on that and expose myself to different magazine articles, different websites, and just to define what cultural competence is and what it means to me, means to me and means to be as a counselor. I think webinars, I think professional development. I love to read, and I do love to learn. So I try to find sites and I try to find books and magazines and articles that are very neutral to present facts and not so much biased. I try to stay away from the political channels. So that I think I have a lot to learn. I think I get mixed emotions with cultural competence, especially with the developmental models. I think you know, these models here, I can't say that I'm in one category or another. I don't feel like I'm in these categories, to be honest. I feel like, you know, we're at a crossroads with our schooling that maybe we were colorblind, or maybe I was colorblind and didn't realize it. So I think there's like a paradigm shift with me in my thoughts and in my reflections. So if I've ever intentionally done something unintentionally, you know, I didn't know it. So I don't know. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to reflect on. I know that I can always learn more, and maybe I've said some things that, you know, have been biased in this video. So I would like to reflect on what I have read and, you know, just increase my awareness of, you know, what race I am, how I react to other races, and how I can be more culturally competent with what I've been given and the knowledge that I have, you know, learned through this class and the resources that we've shared. So I know I have a long ways to go, but I think reflection is key, and I think being a lifelong learner and being open to process and being open to change where we find that we are weak in certain areas. So those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, let me know.